things up, or if they're going to go with tried and true.
So they started off with the Dodgio again, and that, in my opinion, like that's a very smart move on their part. However, they still have to run into this, secure a very strong first pick, like probably like a Rona, and make sure that they're able to have that transition to the mid game. They're having a lot of problems like playing their comp well, and that's what's costing them these games.
Most certainly, and we do see a Sky ban coming out from MediaPixel eSport. So Rebirth of Empire right now, you know what would be very interesting if they busted out a saw of their own, because you can have Finn like if MediaPixel does decide to pick up the Finn, you take a saw to counter it, and you pull in saw, and he just explodes your team.
Yeah, definitely. But it also depends on like playing their comfort picks and playing it well. But like Humanist said, like there also has to be a fun factor about this. They should like enjoy themselves, have some fun, try out some new things if like the last two things weren't working. The Sky ban on MediaPixel is actually very smart because all the comps that MediaPixels have been running is like it's very oriented where a Sky would come in and pretty much dominate their team because of her mobility.
Yeah, and Sky doing extremely good work in this entire, like every single series in this tournament. So taking that out, MediaPixel extremely intelligent. And do you think we'll see a Finn again, or do you think they'll try something else for fun?
I'd like to see him play a Krull this one. Krull's been actually doing really well against Rona, and we have seen them bust out a Krull already. But with Arden and Scarf, they're doing that counter pick again, and they played it really well before. Rona doesn't have much of a chance unless she gets really strong to that late game. She has to try and snowball it early, but who knows what's going to happen next.
Right, and this does prevent the Arden Rona Scarf comp that we did see so often. And taking the Scarf away, I mean, this has been a very effective pick for Cavalifar. We saw him in the previous set. They had the Finn, they had the Rona, they had the Scarf, and every single time Mowgli landed that Force Accord, everyone dropped. Do you think there's going to be another sort of combo on the side of MediaPixel?
Great Khali actually plays like a very strong Vox, and he's shown it throughout the entire tournament. So I've been wondering why he hasn't chosen Vox like today. So hopefully we'll get to see that.
Oh.
So they try and secure this.
Oh boy.
Oh. Okay, so they just lost to this composition. Why not try it?
Yeah, pretty much eliminate anything that could come out to them. So they're like, okay, you know what? We're gonna play this Finn now. We're gonna show them what's up.
All right, so MediaPixel, what do they do in this situation? They just played this composition with, basically against the same few picks.
Incoming Ringo?
Incoming Ringo, let's see it. MediaPixel, we're counting on you. That's not Ringo, all right. Well, there is the Krull for you, Rome. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Krull's like a very great counter pick against them, and they've actually run Krull like probably the first day. Playing this out well, it's going to be Krull against Rona, and having Arden and Finn as their backup, it's going to be whoever gets those items early on makes a difference. You have two mages in the back line that's always poking at each other. It's actually a very balanced comp between the both teams.
Yeah, so looking at these two comps, are there any big item spikes for anyone? Or is it just going to depend on whether they win the early game or the late game?
It's going to be depending on whoever gets the most breaking point stacks and brokenness stacks. So whoever engages first, getting off those auto attacks to pretty much build up their item and get out the maximum potential damage.
All right, any final thoughts before we move into the game?
MediaPixel has been playing excellent, especially with these late game comps. Like they've been making it run well, and they've been winning the early game. So Rebirth of Empire is going to have to come in here with like probably an innovative strategy, look at it from a new point of view, and just try and execute it.
All right, so I'm excited for this match, and taking us into the game will be Forecourt Jester and Tasty Bacon once again.
Thank you, Z-Kent, and potentially for the last time, I am Tasty Bacon, joined by Forecourt Jester. MediaPixel, one game away from the championship, one game away from being the best team in Europe. They have to be just so excited right now.
I wonder if it was like kind of a bit of a shock tactic. All right, Finn. We haven't played against a Finn. We've been playing a lot of it, but all right. I mean, clearly these guys know how to play it. By default, they should know how to play against it, but this is definitely something of a shock. Humanist said they got to have fun with it. We got to switch things up a little bit, Commander Rome, and I think we actually did switch it up at least a little bit here for Rebirth of Kingdom. Well, the big thing is, can they actually make it stick?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we just saw how well MediaPixel ran this composition, so will Rebirth be able to do the same thing, or will MediaPixel have the answers for their own composition here in game number 3? We are on to the Halcyon Fold. It is Rebirth of Kingdom on the blue side, and MediaPixel eSports one game away from grand victory on the red side.
Grand victory could definitely be the best victory, especially if it's going to go 3-0 to Media Pixel eSport, our number 8 seed. What a storyline for them to come into this one. But again, I think that really just was a bit of a betrayal of the numbers. And already into that lane, if you do look up at that Scarf, he has done some fantastic early harassment on top of Great Khali as our junglers are just off, doing their own thing. So Media Pixel eSport, they're feeling good, they're looking good, but Rebirth of Empire, if they have not done any practice with this comp, I fear for this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I would assume that they have practiced it at least a little bit, because you're facing your potentially final game here. If you lose this one, you are taking second place. So the fact that they would pull this composition out here with everything on the line, I feel like they have to have at least played it a little bit.
It's mind games, man. It's the shock factor. It's trying to get into the minds of your opponents, which so far have just been basically just gigantic fortresses that are have not been penetrated whatsoever. Media Pixel eSports have looked so good this weekend. Now we'll have to see if facing up against that Finn, is it just them? Is it Finn? I mean, we've seen a few SAW comps now end of this weekend from a few different teams, and well, arguably it worked out really well, every team that it was on. So now the big question is, can Finn make this work on a team that is down on their luck in 2-0 in a best of 5?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I heard you mention in the pregame that Rebirth, they got beat 2-0 in the first day and then just came back looking so strong, and you questioned what happened to them. Media Pixel happened to them. That just seems to be the story. Like, Media Pixel still have not lost a single game.
It's
here
the taboo,
at the
man. All right, Upfire. He went actually a little bit deep here with Net Toilette. And remember, he's a big hulking monster. It's very hard for him to get from one side of the lake to the other. And well, we just chase him down. That's going to be first blood. And as soon as he hit that tri-bush right there to the right, I mean, Media Pixel's just like, wait, you don't have boots.
Yeah, it's a Finn. We know this guy. He's very slow. So just immediately jumping on him, picking up that kill, and it goes, of course, over to Kavalifar with
exactly
both
where they want to put
teammates
it.
Also getting an assist.
Yeah, no, putting that cash on top of Kavalifar is going to go a long way. Double crystal bits, another energy regen coming into that as well. And the Great Khali just saying, well, I'd like to have some laning time. Kavalifar saying, no, my lane, his crystal, and 23 creeps to the 25. Great Khali only has an energy battery.
Yeah, Great Khali's actually doing a pretty good job here in the lane. Obviously, didn't really rotate down too much when Kavalifar did move down to pick up that first kill. So they are still even on CS numbers. Meanwhile, looking at Palmatoro, still even with Net Toilette as well. So really great job by Media Pixel in this early stage of the game.
You know, sometimes I'm just going to accidentally mistake the Kraken for Finn. Like, those sound effects are absolutely scary. Look at how many light shields are on the side of Rebirth of Empire.
Yeah, they are very much afraid of Kavalifar.
That is respect right there. The problem is, there's no respect right now for Palmataro. Now, it is early game, and, Kroll, he has an assist, which is great to his name, but it's not those kills. We have actually been seeing a lot of early game, really just like godlike maneuvers from some of these other teams with Kroll, and as a late game hero, we'd never really expected that. Now, he seems to be a bit more passive, and as you said, the bigger threat is Kavalifar, but if nothing is done about Palmataro, he is going to become something of a monster.
Yeah, he has just been farming up on his own. Meanwhile, Mowgli and Kavalifar are going to find Upfire Net Roulette, but everyone should be able to get away from that one. But yeah, Palmataro just farming up on his own. He's level 5, tied for the highest level in the game, the highest level on his team, and that's exactly where you want to be on Kroll.
Yeah, you want to be leading that way. The farther ahead you can get early, the better late game you'll get, or at least the faster late game you'll get, especially if it's going to be that broken point that you have really just been championing this entire weekend.
Yeah, and I really do hope he does get there. It looks like he's building some defense first, but we have a fight in the lane.
That core collapse was spectacular, but unfortunately very little to follow it up. And it felt like Palmataro went a little bit too deep. He went right past the team just to get the damage on Great Khali and said, oh, all right, hit the boots, went the other way, right into the core collapse. So really nice reactions from Empire, but at the same time, it's still not enough to put a point on the board.
Yeah, no level 6s yet either, so not going to have any game-changing ultimates in the early stages here. So we are passing 5 minutes, still only 1 kill on the map, but this is what we've kind of experienced in these first couple games already here in the finals.
So other than the story of defensive items coming out here for Rebirth of Empire, nothing else really kind of stands out at this point. Valfar picks himself up that heavy prism, and so he's going to be on his way for some of that crystal. Our Iron Guard contracts are still actually contracts, and Palmataro, nothing else to go as of yet because he still only has that Blazing Salvo. But you know, that could change here at any moment. We do got the level 6s now, Palmataro and Kavalfar. At the same time, Net Twillet and Great Kali ready to go. Mowgli's slightly ahead of his counterpart on Finn.
Yeah, it's not a huge lead there as they now are both level 4 as well. But the level 6s coming out, those 2 ultimates being available for each side, could potentially lead to a fight. But instead, it's actually just going to be a gold mine being taken
very
easily.
Opportunistic right there. Rebirth of Empire, they bounced off each other right there at the shop, went off to do their own farming. Didn't expect Media Pixel to kind of, do what they just did right there. I feel like that was their own kind of shock tactic. Worked out great, puts them in the lead for gold, and they get the vision.
Yeah, and of course the vision is absolutely huge, especially when you are running this Krull. Krull does still need a little bit of time to farm up and get himself into that mid game where he can kind of try and take over. So the fact that they have that vision now to see when someone is coming in is really nice. And Nets Toilette just picked up a breaking point as the first item.
His first item, breaking point, Rona, after a little bit of that defense. All right, we'll have to see if that will stick. If Net Toilette can actually stay on top of someone, those breaking points stacks are going to be absolutely fantastic. Big keyword there is if. Upfire, he's going to be on top of that goop, burns down a little, down to about half or so. And again, Kavalfar is that big threat right now. He does have that Eve of Harvest, another crystal bit to go with it as well. He is hitting extremely hard here at the 7-minute mark.
I really do love the way Media Pixel moves around the map. We just saw, they had a little bit of a skirmish, and as the side of Rebirth backed off, instead of trying to chase, actually hold that thought because there's a fight.
Yeah, great Kali. Bad luck for him from Hell's Heart to set up the Dragon's Breath, and of course Mowgli into there with that Vanguard as well. Finally, another kill on the board, and this is going to put us at a 2-0 here for Media Pixel. Now, the Net Toilette, he's a little bit low on the hit points, but he is staying very far away from the bushes, doesn't want to give Palmataro a chance to kind of come rushing out at him, but of course we know that Palmataro's off jungling. Net Toilette will find that out here fairly soon.
Yeah, actually not going to find it out quite in time to save anything, as those double camps are going to be taken by Palmataro on his own. Good job with the counter jungling. And now we see a Crucible and 3 minion candies getting picked up.
Yep. We just want to make sure we keep that gold line. Now we are going to find Palmataro on his attempted exit, but oh my goodness, the Vanguard comes in and Scarf is doing damage. The Vanguard will actually be put down. Mowgli into the back. He's now going to try to just keep uppercutting up for, but at the same time, Arden goes home with 2 kills. They are going to lose out the Finn. We have now lost out that Rona. It's only the Great Kali left, but both of them landing on top of the uppercutting monster of Arden.
Yeah, the Solar Storm went out. It was so close to picking up a kill on the Palmataro, but the reflex block providing enough of a shield to not even really take that much damage from it. And now they have Great Kali cornered. Oof. It's not going to be an ace, but there's a big stun coming from Hell's Heart, and that's going to be eventually all 3 kills picked up there by Media Pixel.
I think that's 3 for 3 on Hell Hearts. No.
At
least it's 2 for 2. I don't know if there's actually a third, but I gotta say, Media Pixel, again, making these big plays, especially early on. That's gonna put him about a K.5 up, and Mowgli took home 2 of those kills. That's gonna catapult that gold, and 3 kills actually total. In fact, it's Palmataro sitting at 0-0-4.
Yeah, I mean, but he's gonna be perfectly fine with that. The breaking point is now complete as the first full item. Not quite as quickly as the Nets Toilette, because he did, of course, get the reflex block first, but the breaking point is done early. Krull is going to start being an absolute menace, as we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Net Toilette up against the Palmataro. Looks like, believe it or not, it's not going to be a Krull this round. That's a huge stun into the red mist, and that will actually be an ace going the way of Rebirth of Empire. Finally, something goes their way.
Yeah, signs of life coming out here from Rebirth. They take now the gold mine as well for a decent gold payout, and just like that, they have immense gold payout. My apologies to the announcer, but it's also going to give them the gold lead, especially as they try and take down this turret.
Nope. There we go. One more. It's just like you turned your back. It felt like a very big swag thing to do. Core Collapse not going to hit. And Cavalifar and the Gauntlet's going to do some good work on top of Net Toilet. The Red Mist is working, however. That is going to be Finn with a kill on Crow, and he is now not even going to be a factor. The Arden is out, and Upfire is still able to quibble away. Cavalifar now is kind of on the wrong side of the map, but he is fairly healthy and has a lot of damage. Upfire is the guy to tank out those Spitfires. Net Twilight over the wall into the fray, and the Core Collapse into not another ace, but another 3 kills of Rebirth of Empire.
And Great Khali is just doing a massive amount of damage with those Solar Storms into the team. It's hitting everyone and just melting the likes of Palmatoro and Mowgli. And that's exactly what we just saw there. If they can just start surviving that, obviously all they really need is to get one shield item, and they're going to be able to live through that, and the fights could be turning. But for now, have to give credit to Rebirth for taking advantage of the fact that they have all this damage that is not going to be decreased against MediaPixel, and they've won those last 2 fights.
So Palmataro on this Kroll, 0-2-4, has 56 minions, went breaking point, and hasn't really been able to shine this early on yet. It's not quite game over, but this is definitely a big momentum swing going over to Rebirth of Empire with double back-to-back 3-kill results. One an ace, one a little bit more delayed. They took an immense. That's going to be a Hell's Heart, and well, that was a Celeste in the lane. She's going to burn to death there in that goop. But again, like, this isn't over yet, but Rebirth has got to be feeling good about what they were just able to accomplish.
Yeah, of course, when you get someone picked off like that, though, it kind of dampens the mood. And now with the minion candy on the gold mine, they're going to fight this one out. They just take the gold miner, though, so not going to have to deal with the extra damage from him. And Rebirth immediately deciding, you know what, we're not going to fight this one 3-on-2. So a wise decision there. And the gold is very, very close to even. It's about 1,000 separates the 2 teams. 6 kills to 6 here at 12 minutes. It's a little bit more faster paced than what we've seen the last couple games.
There is definitely a glaring issue with the Great Khali, and he's starting to work on it, but he doesn't have a reflex block. These Hell Hearts have actually brought him to his knees more than once now.
Yeah, not only is it going to have to be the From Hell's Hearts you have to worry about, but also the Gauntlet is going to need to be reflex blocked too. So there's a lot that is going to have to be blocked by Great Khali. So they're going to need at least a Crucible from one of the 2 others to help that out. But Net Toilet did get the Atlas Pauldron to try and slow down the Krull, but Krull also has an Atlas Pauldron to slow down the Rona.
Well, hey, when you got 2 breaking point weapon carries, you could go with better, or you could go with worse options. Definitely liking the Atlas Pauldrons. Something to note, there we go. Great Khali actually does pick up the first reflex block for his team. And at 13 minutes in, I feel like, especially against an Arden, that feels a little late.
An Arden and a Krull, especially.
Yeah.
But both teams are hanging around in the lane. There's going to be forced court, gets reflex blocked, and now the fight is on.
Absolutely fantastic reactions. Net Toilet there is going to be looking for that big red miss. That's going to be a Core Collapse. The snipe comes out there as well, but it's not enough. Rona is actually going to drop. Mowgli, believe it or not, is going to live through that one as well. And maybe those Atlas Pauldrons were definitely something to be taking into consideration, because that looked like everything lined up for Rebirth of Empire. They had the Solar Storm. It was a 2-man Core Collapse and the red mist, but no one went down.
Yeah, it was a lot of it is the fact that there is the Crucible from Mowgli, able to provide extra reflex block, extra shielding for the entire team on top of the Vanguard shield as well. So it takes so much to actually knock them down. And we do also have the Fountain of Renewal.
That's a lot of defensive options for that team.
Yeah, there is so, again, it's just you have to burn through their hit points about 3 times over to actually get a kill.
Crucibles, Vanguards, and Fountains. I mean, what was it? Game number 1 of SK. I mean, they had such defensive options, and they had such a huge early game, but they were still going down through these fights. And you know, maybe it is a calculated kind of move here from Rebirth of Empire, not picking up some of those reflex, but instead, you know, going pure damage. You don't really have to worry too much about your positioning if you just kill everyone outright.
Yeah, but the problem is you need to be able to kill everyone outright, and MediaPixel is building so well to avoid that happening, as this is right around the time when they have been flipping the switch and really just taking control of the game. We'll have to see if they can do it again here for the 3rd game in a row in these finals. The Kraken is now available but I don't think either team's going to be looking towards it immediately.
Yeah, not quite right off the bat. I think the fastest Kraken we had in the tournament was about the 15:25 mark.
Yeah, and that was there was I don't remember I can't remember the teams off the top of my head, but they basically got an ace right as Kraken spawned and just immediately went and took it. Not going to be the situation here. However, both teams are now hanging around it, and it does gets aggroed a bit, gets a little angry.
Well, he's
then
hungry.
retreats.
Yeah, he's hungry. He wants the minion candies.
I mean, he just had a gold miner. It can't be that hungry.
It's dessert. It's cherries. Don't you see those cherries on them? It's totally dessert. All right, so Media Pixels are kind of just hanging around. Scarf is actually back at home, did a little bit of shopping, picks up that infusion. And at the same time, Kroll, you know, he was actually 0-0-4 last I talked about him. Now, then he went 0-2-5. He does pick up a kill. He has, you know, some pretty decent defense now with another light shield, Dragonheart to go with it as well. But really, his only offensive item actually is that breaking point, and it's the same idea for Net Toilette.
Yeah, pretty much almost the identical build, with the exception of the Shiver Steel being built on Net Toilette, but they're not emphasizing that move speed because of the fact that obviously Upfire is going to be so slow, but a huge forced accord.
Oh, Pamataro does not want to be here. Here goes the Hell's Heart. Doesn't hit anybody, and now Pamataro is down for the count. The gauntlet is there, and well, that Dragon Breath, not entirely too sure that Kavalfar should have hit that button. Doesn't really leave its mark. Upfire, I think, can actually tank right through Mowgli here, but the great Kali should be able to take him down. 400 damage, and the goop. One more Spitfire. Net Toilette is actually going to go down, and Kavalfar turns it around for 2.
Kavalfar, absolutely a legend here, picking up 2 kills after both of his allies were dead. And the From Hell's Heart did actually connect, however, it hit Finn, which of course can't be stunned. So it did just slow him up a bit, but he's not going to care about that in the middle of a fight of that magnitude. And now Kavalfar, it looked like a fight win heavily in favor of Rebirth. Kavalfar turns it around, gets 2 kills, and now gets a turret on top of it. What a play from this Scarf.
Stopped out the Kraken there as well, and Rebirth of Empire got to be kind of scratching their head on that one. And, you know, Scarf, when he threw down that Dragon's Breath and then he had to kind of stutter step away, like, oh no, he's not getting the damage, he can't really, like, you know, activate any items and blah, blah, blah. But then he just turns right or back around and says, oh wait, I can win this. And he had the confidence to do it, and he did deliver. And, you know, that's definitely a big MVP play there.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that Net Toilette didn't just turn and try and fight Kavalfar there. I mean, obviously, it would have been a close fight, but instead just constantly ran the entire way and took almost all of his health in the process. So, again, there's nothing saying he would have been able to win that fight outright, but we do now see minion miners being completed, and that's going to be a big engage.
It's like, here comes the cavalry, and it's just Kavalfar. Upfire is just going nowhere. This actually could be a fantastic opportunity to pick up that Kraken.
That may have been the quickest I've ever seen a Finn get killed.
It was definitely, like the little Dragon Dart coming in, and then Finn going down. It was rather, you know, just cool to watch. Media Pixel. I don't think this is going to get stolen.
A great Kali trying to snipe it, not quite going to get it, as the Kraken is unleashed. And now Media Pixel picking up infusions. This is what they do. They just take over the game once they hit a certain point. And now with the gold advantage, with the kill advantage, with the Kraken pushing in, they could look to get some serious work onto these turrets.
All right, so Upfire is back from the dead. We do not have that Solar Storm for another 25 seconds. We do have one turret here before the choke, and, well, it is slowly starting to burn down on that goop. Here comes that Kraken, and, well, the Scarf, we've said this time and again, he shreds right through this. Upfire is here for the defense, and again, 10 seconds more until we can get that Solar Storm going, and until then, it's just you got to beat on this Kraken. However, the Kraken will get at least one more turret. This is where we need to start getting those fights going. Net Toilette did do a little bit of the red mist, got some damage off, and the Hell's Heart will connect at the very last moment on Net Toilette. She cannot go anywhere. There's the Solar Storm, but Net Toilette needs to get that health going. She will use the reflex blocks in the red mist, and it looks like she will live through it, but the hit points here from Media Pixels is actually good enough that they're going to be able to go out and clear out some of that jungle.
Yeah, and that was, they almost got the first turret there on the Crystal with that Kraken. So it is going to be very, very gimped down to under half health. But Media Pixel, 2 turrets off that Kraken push. they have to be feeling so confident. And throughout that entire fight, Palmatoro was pretty much full health the entire way.
Yeah, he's really come into it here at the end. Did actually pick up that Shiver Steel before the fight and a lot of infusions, as he said, just before that. He himself picks up Aegis. So now if you think about it, we have Crucible, Aegis, and on top of a Fountain and the Vanguards coming up from Media Pixel.
Oh, they're looking for a fight from Hell's Heart Connects.
Yeah, another big stun on top of Net Twilight. Here comes the Dragonfire. Big damage all around. The Gauntlet is just keeping these guys here. Net Twilight is not getting anything done. Finally gets in there with that red mist, but it is going to be the Celeste now down and out, and that is a very quick fin to follow. Net Twilight will complete the ace, and Media Pixel Esports starts a beeline to that crystal because I think we have ourselves the champions of Europe.
30-second death timers. There is no way they're back in time. They don't even need the minions, but they're coming in now. Media Pixel Esports from 8th to 1st complete the Cinderella story, and they are going to be the champions of the European Live Finals.
Going